నమస్తే ప్రియమైన విద్యార్థులారా, డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ ఓపెన్ యూనివర్సిటీ నిర్వహిస్తున్న టెలికాన్ఫరెన్స్ కార్యక్రమానికి మీ అందరికీ స్వాగతం. ది టాపిక్ ఫర్ టుడేస్ డిస్కషన్ ఈజ్ కరెంట్ ట్రెండ్స్ ఇన్ ఎడ్యుకేషనల్ రీసెర్చ్. టు డిస్కస్ ఆన్ దిస్ టాపిక్, experts have already arrived into the studio. Let me introduce them to you all. First, Professor Mushtaq Ahmed Patel garu, Director, Center for Distance Education and Online Learning, Maulana, Azad, National Urdu University, Gachibowli. You are welcome, sir.
Namaskar.
And Dr. Yakaiah garu, Associate Professor, Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy College of Education. You are also welcome, sir.
Yes, madam.
Dear students, this topic is for BEd special education students because they have a course in this BEd special education course. The MPhil students, PhD students who are appearing for part 1, they are also welcome to participate in this program. PhD general students, while doing their internship, they write CCE record, they also write internship SAT record. కొన్ని అంశాలు దీంట్లో నుంచి వారికి బాగా ఉపయోగపడతాయి. లర్నింగ్ అసెస్మెంట్, అభ్యసన మదింపు అన్నది BEd సెకండ్ ఇయర్ విద్యార్థులకి ఒక కోర్స్ ఉంది. అయితే దాంట్లో కూడా కొన్ని అంశాలు దీంట్లో నుంచి తీసుకొనబడినవి. అయితే ఇది ఈ రకమైన విద్యార్థులందరికీ ఉపయోగపడుతుంది కాబట్టి we have organized this in this teleconferencing program. So let me ask few questions to our experts to give a clear cut picture on this topic. Dear students, you are welcome, you are free to ask questions. Please take down the phone number 04023680456. When you have a doubt, you can raise a question, you are free to ask a question. So let me start the program. Professor garu, the research is there in all the academic disciplines. Like we find research in commerce, management, social sciences, life sciences, medicine, etc., etc. So how educational research is little bit different from other researches. So you can talk on this. Along with that, for the benefit of our students, you can begin your discussion with what is research.
Thank you, ma'am. It's a pleasure to be with you. My pleasure coming back to BRAOU for this teleconference. Research gives us new ideas. That is why research is important. It is composed of two words. One is re plus search. Anything we do search. Searching again and again is called research. What we are searching here is we are searching the knowledge and information which has to be in-depth, systematic and scientific. What are the different ways of getting information? There are 5 sources of knowledge, which is personal experience. As the student or teacher is working in the field of education, he knows, he has personal experience. Tradition, what others are doing, we can base our research based on that. Experts who are working in the field will also give us information that will also help us to do research. Research we do through some examples, we draw through examples we come to generalization, or from generalization or a theory we go to specific examples. This is called inductive or deductive approach. It cannot be a random approach. Research is not a random activity, madam. It has to be a systematic way. The procedure entire procedure has to be followed for that. So a scientific method is also employed in this.
Okay, sir. Thank you for elaborating on what is research. Now, naturally, a doubt arises. Why we should do research? Why we should do research? So, how it is important? What is the need and importance of research? Yakaiah garu, could you please elaborate on what is the importance of research in education?
Yeah. Thank you, madam, and happy to see you all learners, and it's coming back home with B.R. Ambedkar Open University, open learners. Otherwise, on day-to-day basis, we'll work with the regular learners, but it's an opportunity occasionally to interact with you, to share our knowledge and get your experiences, because you are working in the field. Now, as we progress, the need and importance of educational research, let's begin. What is educational research? Research is common for all faculties, and the same as sir just now mentioned, it's quest for knowledge, search for information, that too in a scientific manner, a systematic manner, procedural manner. Until then, the other sources of knowledge are only can be an information, can be an opinion, can be true or cannot be true. And it is true for you, not for others. If anybody challenges that, there is a method called research, which is a systematic scientific method, by applying which anybody, irrespective of personal opinion or bias, you can accept or you can show the contradictory evidence and reject such theory or information or whatsoever it is. From that context, educational research is when you apply such research methods to the field of education, teaching, learning, discipline, curriculum, evaluation, student-teacher interaction, or use of IT in the process of teaching. In any of these aspects, for that matter, any aspect of teaching learning, if you apply this research, we call it educational research. Now, coming to its importance is any field of knowledge grows as a result of research. If there is no research, there is no further growth. Not even the existing phenomena can live and survive. So therefore, for a field of knowledge to grow wider or to use the existing phenomena. కాబట్టి ఏదైనా ఒక రంగంలో ఉన్న విషయ పరిజ్ఞానం ఎదగాలన్నా, ఉన్న విషయ పరిజ్ఞానాన్ని సరిచూసుకోవాలన్నా, వినియోగించాలన్నా, ముందుకు కొనసాగాలన్నా పరిశోధన అనేది దోహదపడుతుంది. ఈ పరిశోధన ఎప్పుడైతే విద్యా ప్రక్రియకు సంబంధించిన అంశాలు మనం కొనసాగిస్తామో దాన్ని విద్యా సంబంధమైన పరిశోధన అంటాము. దీని ప్రాముఖ్యత ఏమిటి అంటే విద్యా ప్రక్రియలు అభ్యాసకులకు సంబంధించి, ఉపాధ్యాయునికి సంబంధించి, బోధనా పద్ధతులకు సంబంధించి ఏదైనా కానీ వీటన్నింటిని మెరుగుపరచాలన్నా, ఉన్న వాటిని ఒకసారి సరిచూసుకోవాలన్నా, లేదా కొత్త వాటిని పరిచయం చేసి కొనసాగించాలన్నా మనకు దోహదపడేదే విద్యా పరిశోధన.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ యాకయ్య గారు. విద్యా పరిశోధన, ఎడ్యుకేషనల్ రీసెర్చ్, లైక్ ఇట్ ఈస్ జస్ట్ an applied research, and fundamentally we have fundamental research and basic research, but applied research is little bit different from basic and pure fundamental research. Okay, so it is very interesting to know when Yakaiah garu was discussing about the need and importance of educational research. So in every activity there are steps, like, so in the same manner, just like project method steps are there, in education research also we have steps, సోపానాలు. అయితే ఈ సోపానాలు అన్నది ఒక క్రమబద్ధీకరణలో ఉంటాయన్నమాట. అయితే మై రిక్వెస్ట్ టు యాకయ్య గారు ఈస్ టు త్రో సమ్ లైట్ ఆన్ ది ఇంపార్టెంట్ స్టెప్స్ ఇన్ ఎడ్యుకేషనల్ రీసెర్చ్. సార్.
Yes, sure, madam. As we defined research as a systematic procedure, scientific procedure, definitely it follows specific steps. As sir said, it cannot be a random procedure, definitely. It cannot be a erratic procedure. It cannot be a personal choice. Of course, there will be slight variation here and there depending on the context, field work, or the topic of research, but otherwise broadly it follows certain scientific steps. Now let us see, you can see here on my screen the steps in the educational research. The first and foremost fundamental step is identification of research problem. When we do research, we do on a specific topic. It could be search for knowledge, it could be solving a problem, it could be applying an existing theory, whatever it is. ఏదైనా ఒక పరిశోధన మనం మొదలు పెట్టాలంటే మొట్టమొదటి సోపానం ఆ పరిశోధన ద్వారా మనం పరిష్కరించదలసిన సమస్య ఏమిటి, ఏ విషయాన్ని గురించి మనం పరిశోధన చేయదలుచుకున్నాము అన్నదాన్ని ప్రధానంగా నిర్ధారించుకోవడం మొట్టమొదటి సోపానం. వి కాల్ ఇట్ ఐడెంటిఫైయింగ్ ద ప్రాబ్లం. And then you have review of related literature, because you take any topic under the sun, it's not that you are doing research for the first time. Maybe extension is there in you, a new aspect may be added to you, but there exists some knowledge, some information, some research already conducted by previous researchers. So therefore, before you go, review that information who have done work on this area, what is so far accomplished, available knowledge, what are the yet to be answered questions, what are the to be solved problems to this particular research. For all this, what will be useful is what is known as review of literature. And the third step is formulating hypothesis or research questions. Now let us say I have a new innovative IT application. As a teacher, I believe that it is going to improve the students' performance. Will it? If I say yes, it improves because I know this method, it is my opinion. Even though I know that, but I prepare a hypothesis, a tentative statement whose validity is to be verified. So therefore, we normally choose certain research questions or hypothesis. So that's the third step. And then we'll, based on all this, we will have a research design where you collect the data. What method of research do you follow? How are you going to analyze this data and present the results? Now all this is indicated in the research design. And the last two steps, by and large, you have data collection. Obviously, you have to collect information. It's not my personal opinion. If field experts are there, related sample is there, or the sources as books, or the previous researches, or the journals, other publications. Now, from whatever the source relevant, we will collect the data and analyze the same data, and professor is going to throw some light maybe on these aspects as we go through. But now we will move on to the last another two steps of research, the interpretation and conclusion. If you collect all data and analyze and you don't give any conclusion, you don't interpret the data, you don't give a conclusion or generalization, there is no meaning. So therefore you have to come to a conclusion. This is what I thought, I hypothesized, I collected the data, and I have got this result, and then finally report the same to the agency, or if it is a doctoral research for Ph.D, if it is a MA or otherwise other levels, a dissertation, in that form you are going to report it. కాబట్టి సాధారణంగా పరిశోధనకు సంబంధించిన నిర్దిష్ట సోపానాలు ఉన్నాయి. వాటిలో ప్రధానంగా చెప్పుకోదలిసినవి పరిశోధించాల్సిన సమస్యను ఎంపిక చేసుకోవడం, నిర్ధారించడం లేదా నిర్వచించడం మొట్టమొదటి సోపానం అయితే, దానికి సంబంధిత రివ్యూ ఆఫ్ రిలేటెడ్ లిటరేచర్, గతంలో పరిశోధనలకు సంబంధించిన సమాచారాన్ని సేకరించడం, ఆ తర్వాత పరిశోధన నమూనాను రూపొందించుకోవడం, సంబంధిత సమాచారాన్ని సేకరించడం, దాన్ని విశ్లేషించడం, ఆ సమాచారం నుంచి మనం ఏవైతే ఫలితాలు లేక సాధారణీకరణలు చేయగలమో వాటిని రాబట్టి వాటి ఆధారంగా పరిశోధన పత్రాన్ని సమర్పించడం లేదా పరిశోధన గ్రంథాన్ని సమర్పించడం, ఆ సమాచారాన్ని వివిధ పత్రికల్లో లేదా జర్నల్స్లో ప్రచురించడం, ఈ సాధారణంగా పరిశోధనలో ఉండే సోపానాలు.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. సో నౌ రీసెర్చ్, it is not a rocket science, so you will definitely enjoy it if you put lot of effort. Okay, so the B.Ed special education students have this as in curriculum. They have to read the text and they have to listen to the discussions and they have to write the examination. We all know examination is a necessary evil. So to make your burden lessen, we have conducted this program. So, from your textbook, there is another very important thing that is included in your syllabus, that is important tools of educational research. Now, there are, how do we collect the data? There are certain tools, okay, to collect. So, the gist of the tools of educational research is going to be highlighted by Professor Mushtaq Ahmed Patel Garu. Sir.
Thank you, ma'am. It's a very important aspect, tools. The way, if you want to go from one place to another, you use vehicle. That is how tools are a helpful media to collect the information from the respondents. There are different tools which are available. It depends on the student or the research scholar how he is going to use. Say for example, he can do survey or questionnaire. Survey means from the sample or the population, from population you draw a small group, it is called sample, and from sample whatever your research problem is, those problems, your information regarding those you are going to collect in the form of survey or question. You can distribute the questionnaire. Either you can design your own questionnaire as a research scholar, or you can use the ready-made available questionnaire. This may contain the opinion, behavior or characteristics of the stakeholders or sample in this case. That is survey and questionnaire. Open-ended, close-ended will be there. Then we have got interview. Suppose if the sample is handy, we can approach them, we can have personal talk to each other, then questionnaire can be done. Questionnaire can be implemented as one-to-one or one to the entire group. So it can be interview, you see, it can be a random interview as well, or it can be, you can plan the questions in advance and go with those questions and conduct the interview. That is called structured interview. If you are doing randomly, asking something from your sample group, then it becomes unstructured interview. As you know, there are most of the time respondents are unable to tell their feeling, or they cannot express their opinions in words. In such a case, the participant goes and observes them. That is, observation is also another tool which is used for collecting data. It can be a participant observation, or he can look to the entire group. Like Thorndike has kept his dog in this one. Pavlov has kept his dog in the cage and observed. So it can be observed from externally, or you can become a football player and observe your teammates, so that you can understand behavior, then interact with them. Similarly, teaching practices also can be observed. Tests and assessments are also conducted. Tests are already available, psychological tests, those can be utilized. If those are not accessible, not printed, then the test will be there in the dissertation or thesis. Those can also be utilized. Or teacher can make his own tests and collect the quantitative data. This is how he can do. Apart from that, you know that case studies can be done. If you want to understand 360 degrees of a particular school or particular person, then in-depth studies can be done, including case history, why it has happened, why the situation has occurred. All those things can be understood by taking into consideration the tool called case study. It is a supporting device, you can say. Tools are supporting devices. Sometimes what happens, if you want to understand how evolution has taken place over the period from independent of India till now, how the education has processed, proceeded, you can analyze the document like Kotari Commission, National Education Policy 1968, 86, 2020. So document analysis can also be done to understand the educational processes. These are different tools, ma'am, which can be used.
Thank you, sir. So, like tools are very, very important. Dear students, a small suggestion on behalf of me is, like in your book and in the previous question paper, there was one particular question asked, discuss the advantages and disadvantages of rating scales. Okay, so it is there in your text on page number 41. So I request sir to throw some light, but before that let us ask Yakaiah Garu to talk about methods. In all academic contexts and courses, we have methodologies. The research just now I discussed with Professor Mushtaq Ahmed Patel Garu by saying that in all the academic disciplines we have research. Okay, so in education also we have research. So it is multidisciplinary research. Why do we have 7th edition of educational research in education by John W. Best, and now we have 12th edition of John W. Best. Then why do we have research is growing slowly. Okay, just like we have a very big computer, Charles Babbage. Now we have a one thing like like in the tab also we are using it. So it is very useful to you. It is a multidisciplinary. It is now SPSS and statistics, Excel using and then doing research quantitatively is not that difficult. మీరు ఈ యొక్క విద్యను కైవసం చేసుకోవచ్చు ఒకవేళ గన మీకు ఇంట్రెస్ట్ అండ్ దెన్ ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ సో మెనీ అవర్స్ టు రీడ్ అండ్ రీడ్. సో let us come to the exact point. The point is, what are the different methods we use in educational research? Okay, Yakaiah Garu, please.
Yeah. Fine, madam. Coming to the methodologies or methods of research, as just now sir thrown some light on the tools. For example, I have used a questionnaire. Then my data is in quantitative form. Then I can use some statistics, as you made a mention, and analyze the data and come out with the findings. In such case where the data collected can be quantified, appropriate statistical methods can be applied and come to a conclusion that we call the quantitative methodology. The methodology used is quantitative in nature. On the other hand, observation, for example, case study, where you don't have much numbers or quantification, or there is no very specific statistical method that can be applied there, but the data is relevant, meaningful, mostly in a qualitative in nature. In that case, we use an approach known as qualitative. So from one point of view, the two major research methodologies we can say is the quantitative approach, the qualitative approach. ఒకటి పరిమాణాత్మకమైనది లేదా సంఖ్యాపరమైన విశ్లేషణతో కూడినది, ద క్వాంటిటేటివ్ అప్రోచ్. రెండోది గుణాత్మకమైనది, ద క్వాలిటేటివ్ అప్రోచ్. ఏది మంచిది, ఏది ఎక్కువగా వాడాలి అనేది చాలా రీసెంట్ వరకు డిస్కషన్ జరుగుతూ వచ్చి ఇప్పటికి పరిశోధకులు అందరూ ఒక అంగీకారానికి ఏమొచ్చారంటే ఏది మంచిది ఏది చెడ్డది అనేది లేదు. సందర్భోచితంగా వాడినప్పుడు క్వాంటిటేటివ్ రిసెర్చ్ కానీ క్వాలిటేటివ్ రిసెర్చ్ కానీ తగిన పర్పస్ సర్వ్ చేస్తుంది. కాబట్టి సందర్భోచితంగా వాడాలి తప్ప క్వాంటిటేటివ్ సైంటిఫిక్గా ఉంటుంది, క్వాలిటేటివ్ సైంటిఫిక్గా ఉండదు అన్న అలాంటిది ఏమీ లేదు. ఏది దేనికన్నా ఎక్కువ కాదు, తక్కువ కాదు. అయితే రీసెంట్ ట్రెండ్ ఇన్నోవేషన్ ఏంటి అంటే మిక్స్డ్ అప్రోచ్. వై డోంట్ యూ టేక్ సమ్ క్వాంటిటేటివ్ డేటా అండ్ ఆల్సో టేక్ సమ్ క్వాలిటేటివ్ అబ్జర్వేషన్స్ అండ్ యాడ్ ఆల్ దిస్ అండ్ కమ్ టు ఎ కంక్లూజన్ విచ్ ఇస్ మోర్ కాంప్రహెన్సివ్. కాబట్టి ఈ రెండు పద్ధతుల్లో సమాచారాన్ని సేకరించి విశ్లేషించి సమగ్రమైన ఫలితాలను తెలియజేసేది మిక్స్డ్ మెథడ్గా మనం పేర్కొనడం జరుగుతుంది. కాబట్టి క్వాలిటేటివ్, క్వాంటిటేటివ్ అండ్ మిక్స్డ్ మెథడ్. అండ్ దెన్ అనదర్ వెరీ స్పెసిఫిక్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ రిసర్చ్ టుడే I would like to throw some light on that. We would like to have some discussion is on the action research. Normally research is conducted by a researcher. a person specialized in that area. And it has to be also, no doubt with that. But there is a constraint in that where the researcher will be doing research somewhere else sometime and results will come later. But as a classroom teacher, you face some problem. As administrator, the HM or the DO or the higher authorities, they have some immediate pressing challenges or the problems which are better understood and faced by them on the day-to-day basis. In such case, a person who is facing the challenge or the problem or the situation, search it himself and implement the solution and evaluate as he go on his day-to-day working is known as action research. చర్యాత్మక పరిశోధన అంటాం. ఏ వ్యక్తి అయితే ఎవరైతే ఆ సమస్యను లేదా సన్నివేశాన్ని పరిస్థితిని ఎదుర్కొంటున్నారో వారే నేరుగా పరిశోధనను వారి నిత్య జీవన విధుల నిర్వహణలో భాగంగా కొనసాగించి ఆ ఫలితాలను వెంటనే ఆ సమూహానికి వినియోగించడానికి అవకాశం ఉన్న ఒక మెరుగైన పరిశోధనా పద్ధతి యాక్షన్ రీసెర్చ్. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so action research is the up and coming thing and it gives very immediate results. We can implement in no time and we can see the solution to a problem. Thank you, sir, for throwing very good all aspects in research methods. Now I already told to our students, participants, that the tools సార్ ప్రొఫెసర్ ముష్తాక్ అహ్మద్ పటేల్ గారు చెప్పారు కదా మనకు డిఫరెంట్ టూల్స్ ఉన్నాయని. అయితే ఇది ఒక పరీక్షకి ఎట్లా ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వాలి అన్న సందర్భాన్ని కూడా ఇక్కడ మేము చెప్తూ ఉన్నాం. కాబట్టి ఒక క్వశ్చన్ ఉంది ఫ్రమ్ యువర్ ప్రీవియస్ క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్స్. వాట్ ఆర్ ది అడ్వాంటేజెస్ అండ్ డిసడ్వాంటేజెస్ ఆఫ్ రేటింగ్ స్కేల్స్? సార్ ప్లీజ్.
Yes, madam, you are right that there are advantages as well as disadvantages of any particular tool. In this case, you have asked about rating scale. What are the advantages or disadvantages? Rating scales are going to rate a particular incident or a situation. Say for example, if I tell you, do you like National Education Policy 2020? Either you can say yes or no. That can be one kind of rating. It is dichotomous rating. Yes means maybe partially I am happy, partially I am not happy. This partial happiness or partial unhappiness can range a wide range. So you can convert it to agree, undecided, or do not agree. This can be 3-point scale, rating scale can be constructed for the same question. Now the respondent has got choice of saying yes, undecided, or no. He is having wider scope. It is called Likert kind of rating scale. You can have 3-point rating scale, 5-point rating scale, 7-point rating scale. As many number of points you are giving, that much thinking is increased. So he can say partially I agree with National Education Policy, or partially I do not agree with National Education Policy. Here what is happening is rating scale you are designing in advance and going to the respondent to collect the data. There what is happening, there is no need to ask question randomly like in case of interview. They see, I can design a questionnaire, you can go and implement. So rating scale can be implemented by another person. Need not be the person who has designed need not go to the field. So it is going to give a quantitative data. Quantitative data can be analyzed later on and you can store all the responses from the respondents for further analysis later on. This is the advantage.
Yeah, I hope students have followed very well. Sir, actually when we talk about the kinds of research, in education research we have applied research. Education research is applied research. Apart from that, there are types of research like fundamental research, pure research, etc. So the current thing, the up and coming thing what the researchers are using, the employed teachers are using is action research. So action research, how what is action research, how it is important, what is the historical background of action research? I would like to ask Patel sir to throw some light on this.
Yes, ma'am. It's as we all know, there are three different kinds of researches. One is basic research, second is applied research, and after that action research has started. Why action research started? Because we wanted to solve our day-to-day problems. We are not, as a teachers, classroom teachers, we need not make theories and give those theories to somebody else. See, if a child is coming late, why is coming late? That can be studied by a teacher. Theory should not be there for that purpose. If he is very weak and lean and unable to concentrate, no theory will explain how to tackle that particular situation. So your teaching, learning, your assessment can be evaluated using action research. That is very much important. Action research is a reflective cyclical process in which teachers identify problems in the classroom. They identify. It is not expert who is identifying the problem. Who is collecting the data? Teacher is collecting the data. Who is analyzing the data? Teacher is analyzing the data. And who is going to implement that solutions to solve the problem? It is teacher. One school and another school may have a similar kind of situation, so we can duplicate or replicate a particular kind of action research. But action research cannot be generalized for the entire community, because sample is also very small, problem is also very small. This is the thing.
Okay sir, thank you sir. Because action research is a kind of solution for the pertinent problems in the classroom in a particular school of that one particular locality. So generalization may or may not be what you call good in that case, because every student is unique person, every school is unique, and every locality community is unique, and education needs are unique from place to place and country to country. Okay.
Madam, to further to this, I would like to add how this research has to be done by the teacher. That is also very much important.
Yes.
First of all, in this entire cyclical process, teacher encounters the problem. It is not that teacher is particularly concentrating for identifying the problem. While he is teaching learning process or day to day, he identifies the problem. So after that, when he identifies the problem, he develops a plan how to deal that particular situation. Action plan is developed, and later on what he does is he develops an action so that he can implement changes or interventions in the classroom. For example, changing the teaching learning process or modifying the classroom management techniques. So this can be done so that particular situation can be tackled. Similarly, after developing some action, he can observe his sample and collect the data through various methods, what I have discussed with you, like observation, interviews, survey, or assessment. Then he can reflect. This is the data collected. He can analyze those data and reflect upon that, and so that the impact of the changes can be made, whether the problem was resolved or not. Then if it is resolved, okay, otherwise he can revise his action. This is how he can attain.
Yes sir, thank you sir. So just now I was talking about why do we have so many editions in research in education written by John W. Best. Okay, so there are so many editions. Similarly, in SPSS also we have recent format like 3.4%, that one we are using. Current one is that one. Okay, so why that much of variation? Why it is education research is a journey, or why so many trends are coming up in the recent things using AI, artificial intelligence. How can we take up the research? Because research is not a rocket science, but it is a thing likable by all the students. You have so many resources nowadays. So please, I request Yakaiah Garu to mention some important current trends in educational research. Sir.
Yes, madam. As I said, the research makes the field to live, survive, progress and go ahead, and research itself also applies all those methods. And it's not the historical method we use today, not the same old what is possible. In those days, whatever the only primary, secondary resources were available within the limited, and we used that. And as the days goes, now sitting here you can access the information across the globe, get different sources and get them verified, analyzed in different manner. So in view of all those available facilities and possibilities, some of the current trends I just would like to make a mention is technology integration. As you know, these days, and almost every field of human life is influenced by technology, so also the research field and research in education for that matter. So therefore, in that, the recent one definitely to make a mention is AI, artificial intelligence, chatbots, questionnaires and Google Forms, analyzing. Even earlier somebody is not good at statistics, and unless you find a suitable statistician who understand both the research and the technical aspect of the statistics, you are got stuck there. And now these days you upload your data, and there are sources where they can analyze and give you the required analysis part, which you can further go. So thus the technology integration, starting from the identification of the problem to the framing your research design through collection of data, analysis, interpretation, and finally your preparation of the thesis or the research report. So all through technology integration is one important trend which definitely we need to talk, and one has to adopt if he has to be up to date in the process of research. And the second is inclusive education, and so we all agree earlier, though theoretically we agree, practically we felt it is impossible to consider every child is unique, at least in practically when you implement. But now we believe the diverse population, uniqueness of every child, the significant individual differences are classroom reality, and the teacher is expected to follow an inclusive approach. No, I'm a regular teacher, I'll teach less, the remedial teacher teach these things, special teacher teach this. No, of course all those services based on the individual need as a supportive service can be provided, but ultimately the regular classroom teacher has to meet the teaching learning needs of every child. So therefore the only option available is to follow the inclusive education. So this is another trend. And the third is social emotional learning. Recently we all know the importance of IQ, intelligence quotient. The more you are bright, the more you are intelligent, considered as great. No doubt it is true, but partially. Now we say EQ, emotional quotient. You are an excellent worker but outbursts in between, but did not cope up with your teamwork, did not adjust with your lineup of work and the structure of work. Again, that's a great challenge. So therefore the social and emotional learning, these aspects, not only be in control, awareness of your own emotions, also the emotional state of the team, the working environment, the place you are currently placed in. Now all these matters. So therefore social emotional learning is another trend. A lot of research has begun in this area and it is going ahead. And then collaborative learning, with all the advent of this technology and all that. Now though you sit at your home, you are not working all alone. Your teammates are sitting elsewhere, but you all together will work. The collaborative learning is more possible and more of opportunities have come in, and that's the way as such, because when we agree each of us is unique, you have a unique abilities, unique skill and unique contribution of your own to bring in, but that unique alone is not the great, is significant but not the great or complete. when to make it great, make it comprehensive and complete, collaborate with the others. So collaborative learning is another area of the research trend. And another important dimension is the equity and accessibility. Equality is given by constitution or by the laws, but equity is to be ensured in implementation, wherein the teacher plays a role, the other authorities plays a role, even the child, parents, community members, each has a responsibility in ensuring the equity. ఉదాహరణకి సమానత్వం అనేది మనకి రాజ్యాంగం ద్వారా లేదా మనకున్న చట్టాల ద్వారా ఇవ్వబడింది. అందరికీ విద్య అనేది విద్యా హక్కు చట్టం ద్వారా ఇవ్వబడింది. వెంటనే 2009లో వచ్చేసి 10 నుంచి ఇంప్లిమెంట్ అయినంత మాత్రాన లాస్ట్ 14 years స్టిల్ వీఆర్ స్ట్రగ్లింగ్ టు ఇంప్లిమెంట్ ఇట్, టు ఎన్ష్యూర్ ఇట్. వై? ఈక్వాలిటీ ఈజ్ దేర్, బట్ ఈక్విటీ, అందరికీ సమాన అవకాశాలు ఇవ్వబడ్డాయి, కానీ ఆ సమాన అవకాశాన్ని అందుకొని వినియోగించుకోవాలి అంటే ఏం చేయాలి? సో దిస్ ఈజ్ అనదర్ important area, equity and accessibility. And similarly cultural sensitivity, especially now globe is a village. When we say anybody can live anywhere and we interact with different cultures, with linguistic, religious, and in Indian context the community or the caste, different groups, different socio-economic interests. And one of the beautiful feature of India is that unity in the diversity. If that to survive, that to upheld, and what is required is the cultural sensitivity. Which culture is great, which culture is not great? There is no inferior culture or no greater culture, superior culture for that matter. Every culture is important. Understanding that, respect your culture, follow, and also respect the practices, cultural practices of others. And that's the only way which is going to help us to live peacefully at our village level and at global level. In absence of that, even all these technological inventions and the greater developments don't know what happens. You look at the places of the war, it took decades, centuries to develop those areas.
Yes, sir.
And but a few hours, few days to destroy that. Why? The lack of understanding, the insensitivity to a culture, to the other cultural people. All right. So these are the important current trends.
Nice, sir. Current trends. You all know about the current trends, like how we are using AI, chat GPT, sending కొన్ని రోజుల క్రితం టైపింగ్ చేసి ఒక మాన్యువల్గా ఒక క్లర్క్ కూర్చొని టైప్ చేసి తీసి సబ్మిట్ చేసేవాళ్ళు. చాలా కంబర్సమ్ ప్రాసెస్గా ఉండేది. ఇప్పుడు అదేమైపోయింది, చాలా సులువుగా అయిపోయింది. ఆ విధంగానే ఇంకా కొన్ని ఈ యొక్క పోకడల వలన, సమకాలీన పోకడల వలన మనకేమవుతుంది, రీసెర్చ్ని చాలా సునాయాసంగా చేయొచ్చు అన్నట్టు అనిపిస్తుంది. దాంట్లో భాగంగానే కరెంట్ ట్రెండ్స్ గురించి యాకయ్య గారు వివరించారు. దిస్ ఈజ్ వెరీ గుడ్, లైక్ పరీక్షలు మీరు అనుకోవచ్చు ఒట్టి బీఈడి స్పెషల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ లెవెల్లో, జనరల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ లెవెల్లో ఉండొచ్చు కదా, మీకు ఎందుకని కాదు, అట్లని కాదు. సో ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ సమ్ టైమ్స్ నాట్ ఫీలింగ్ లైక్ mastering the subject, what do? You prepare your own bits. Like on page number 41 there is a line like rating scale is one of the inquiry form. So you prepare small bits like giving yes, no, maybe, and keep your answer ready. That will help you to do your masters in special education and also crack NET at a later level. Okay. So just like we have current trends in educational research, we have current concerns in educational research. Okay. So Professor Mushtaq Ahmed garu, please give some discussion on current concerns in educational research.
That is very true, ma'am. As you say, Yakaiah sir has told that current trends are there. When new thing comes, new problems also arise. So there are concerns, various concerns are there, right from teacher to administrator, everybody, student, everybody is facing concerns. And concerns for educational research are whether our educational research should be teacher centered or it should be student centered. who should be in focus for us for educational research. If we are concentrating on students, then teachers improvement will not take place. If we are concentrating on teachers, then student improvement does not happen. So a balance has to be made.
Yes.
I have a friend of mine, a doctor, who says that so and so has got this disease. He says it is not ethically correct that I should tell, but I am telling you. Means ethical considerations are very much important, and an investigator or a researcher has to abide by that. Data should not be revealed, a name should not be told to the public, only it should be used for the research purpose. That is why when you prepare a questionnaire or a rating scale, you write that this data will be used only for research purpose. It will not be revealed. There is a student of mine who is a B.Ed college principal. She doesn't want to give her college data. Means they are fearful that their data will be misused. So as a researcher, investigator, you need to be ethically right, and you should not misuse the data. Reliability and validity of the research tools as well as the process employed has to be taken care, so that if I am doing some research here, say for example, if I am just freely throwing some object, means just leaving an object, it falls to earth. This is a scientific experiment. Whether you are in India or abroad, every object falls towards earth. It is called gravitational force. Similarly, these research can be implemented elsewhere. This can be taken care of.
Yes, thank you, sir. So like when we are talking about current trends, current what you call concerns, major concerns in education research, we also sometimes our questions raise, I mean like we can raise few questions in the direction of ethics to be followed, and also what should be there in future, how to curb concerns, major concerns, and how to escalate or aggravate or grow what you call current trends, how to make all the students research oriented students. Okay, so in that direction, here is a question to Professor Yakaiah garu. Sir, could you discuss about future directions in education research relevant for our learners?
Yes, madam. As we made a mention, collaboration is one of the current trend. From that comes one of the important future direction also, which we talk about interdisciplinary research. Now, until now, the focus is when as a teacher educator or the person from the education department, we much focused research in education with a little collaboration with the psychology, philosophy, or some of the pedagogy subjects. But now it cuts across the subjects, because earlier a student of BA has to study only arts. Our student cannot study science subjects, science student cannot study another linguistic or language areas. But now with the NEP 2020 and other trends, there is a lot of scope to cut across when you study, when you do research in your future, because in life there is no separate the science wing, arts wing, and fine arts wing, something like that. They interplay in the life. So therefore the research also can cut across the disciplines, and the future research is going to be more relevant, more meaningful. So thus the interdisciplinary research is one important direction. And the second is the longitudinal studies, and you study for 6 months, 3 years, 5 years. For practical limitations of the period as part of study is okay, but scientific studies which are to be applied at a larger social groups, maybe it is in the field of education or interdisciplinary fields, definitely they have to go for a longer period, can be 10 years, 15 years. Then probably doubt may come, then what happens after 10 years, 15 years? It doesn't mean only longitudinal studies. We are saying take on the action research, take on the fundamental research, take on the applied research, along with that some of the longitudinal studies ఫర్ లాంగర్ టైం. కాబట్టి రానున్న దినాల్లో పరిశోధన అనేది ప్రధానంగా ఏదో ఒక రంగానికే పరిమితం చేయకుండా వివిధ రంగాల్లోని నిపుణులు కూడి లేదా పరిశోధకుడే ఒక రంగానికి పరిమితం అవ్వకుండా వివిధ రంగాల్లో అందుబాటులో ఉన్న సమాచారాన్ని పరిగణలోకి తీసుకుంటూ పరిశోధన ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్లడం అనేది ఒక ప్రధానమైన విధానంగా ముందుకు కొనసాగనుంది. అలాగే దీర్ఘకాల పరిశోధనలు 3 నెలలు, 6 నెలలు, 3 సంవత్సరాలు, 5 సంవత్సరాలని కోర్సులకి పరిమితి ఉంటుంది. కాబట్టి ఆ కాల పరిమితితో పరిశోధన చేస్తే పర్వాలేదు. కానీ కొన్ని ప్రధానమైన పరిశోధనలు మానవ జీవితం పైన ఇప్పుడు అనుదినంలో భాగమైన మొబైల్ కానీ, ఇంటర్నెట్ కానీ, అదర్వైజ్ టెక్నాలజీ ఎలాంటి ప్రభావాన్ని చూపబోతుంది. By the time you do a research and come out with 2 years, 3 years, the technology is changed. So then what? Take a long-term study. Over a period of time, this is how the technology has been changing, and this is what are the expected adaptations in education, in medication, in daily life, in lifestyle, in sports, in yoga, in your language, in your social life. So covering across the subjects over a long period of study probably is another important future direction, as well as global educational research. And earlier when somebody do research, by and large his district, is state, is country, and now it's country is not a boundary, it's possible, you can go ahead. And then artificial intelligence and education. So by and large, definitely directly, indirectly, in a larger way or a smaller way, the IT, especially the artificial intelligence, is going to influence the life. So therefore, definitely in future, if somebody think that I will do research but no artificial intelligence, probably is incomplete. So therefore, that's another important direction.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your elaborate discussion on these future directions. So, Patel sir talked about tools, different tools. Nowadays we can administer a questionnaire online. Okay, how to prepare a Google form and all. Then monkey survey is there. How many questions one should have? How all those answer sheets, where they come and sit. How to collect, how to analyze. These are the simple doubts a student may get. So after administering the tool, what do you get? You get something, isn't it? Answer sheets. What do you call them in research language? So let me ask a question to Patel sir. Sir, please tell us what is meant by data and data analysis process. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You are very right, ma'am. The students also have got a detailed unit on data, how to analyze the data. Yes. What raw scores we get. Say for example, if you conduct a test, some student pass, some student fail. So whatever score they are getting is also a data. Through questionnaire you are getting some values, that is also called a data. Data as such is of no use. Suppose if I write 10, 15, 20, 100 some numbers, it will not be useful. It has to be arranged properly, like a house we arrange all the things properly. Similarly, the data has to be arranged in which category it is coming, how many have passed, how many have failed. So that gives more brighter impression of the classroom. So arrangement of data is important. It can be done in tabular form, it can be done in graphical formats, it can be analyzed what is the average score. Say for example, if Tendulkar is playing 10 matches, he is scoring different runs. We combine all those runs and divide by 10 and we come at the average. It's so simple, but students get feared. Oh, array, so much calculation is there. It's not difficult. So mean is there, median is there. Those are technological terms, but it is simple. Thing is average. I think because of this one, I'll just cut it short.
Okay. So thank you, sir. Sir, being students, research, some of the students, they think that just writing the exams and then getting scores, and research is different from studying the books and studying different resources, inquiring the research persons, etc., etc. But here what we feel is there are certain ethics to be followed by students and also to be followed by researchers. So, Yakaiah sir, just give some gist as to how a student should be ethical while learning the content before appearing for an examination or a competitive examination, and also while doing the research.
Yes, ma'am. As we made one of the mentions of the concerns of research is the research ethics. So these days that there is a growing concern as far as ethics is concerned, because a lot of information is available online, and obviously when something is readily available, one is tend to be tempted. Why should I invent the wheel again? It's available, let me make use of it. So nothing wrong, but the thing is there are two things. When you take the information online is not a crime or not wrong. But every information online will mention its criteria of what, whether you can use, commercially use, only research purpose use, academic purposes use, or if you have to use, you have to pay something. Whatever is the rules, we call their proprietary. So without breaking their intellectual property rights, you can use. First thing. Second thing is just to copy and paste instead of us, the chatbot or the AI will do better job. As a human being, your intervention is own it. You take that information and put in your words, in your context, in the place where you are talking. And the third most important in both the cases, you give the credit to the source. I have collected or used the information from so and so source, which we call citations, the references, or the credit if it is the diagram. Nothing wrong. Instead, you start and draw a diagram which is not of your skill or not within your limitation, but somebody who is good at that have done that diagram. Then you see that, give that credit to them. Take, if required, oral or written, whatever the permissions required as such. And one solution for the researchers in this area is open educational resources. So OERs, at least they openly declare that yes, this no very particular intellectual property right we claim, but only at least quote us like that. And these days online, that is also how to quote also they are giving. So therefore, when we learn to use the information, let us learn use the information in a proper way, especially giving the credit to the source.
Yes, sir. Giving credit to the source. Okay. So Patel sir, how to use Google Form? Will you tell in fraction of a second?
That's very interesting, ma'am. Most of our scholars also have been collecting data nowadays through Google Form, because instantly they can send the questionnaire and collect it. You should have a Google ID, Gmail ID, and there one app is there, Google Form. So you can go to the Google Form and design any type of question. It can be a multiple choice question, it can be a yes or no type of question, it can be a rating scale, it can be a subjective question also. You can take in the form of paragraph, or you can ask somebody to load the document, like a photo can be uploaded. And nowadays teachers are also testing using the Google Form. It's very simple.
Yes,
I
sir.
think researchers can make use of.
Yes.
That's good.
Thank you, sir. This is the time to, thank everyone and thank the resource persons and all the personnel who have involved in making this teleconference program a grand success. I thank Professor Mushtaq Ahmed Patel and also Dr. Yakaiah Garu for coming over here into our studio and then discussing elaborately on what is research and importance of research, steps in educational research, some important tools in educational research and research methods, action research, current trends in educational research, major concerns, future directions, and how to use Google Form, data, etc., etc. Thank you once again for good participation in the teleconference program. Thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you.